Financial discipline. Uh, Financial discipline in order to achieve your goals. And once you are there, suppose you have grown to a stage where you have become sustainable, then do you still follow the same forecasting budget discipline method to really continue to be sustainably growing on your objective?
Very, very well and valuable insight, sir. You made a mention of discipline, sir, and in your mention, it was on the context of financial discipline. But extending the thought of discipline, one thing which comes to mind is about corporate governance. And the generally observed tendency is जब IPO के पास जाएंगे तब हम embrace करेंगे. But in today's age and time, it may be worthwhile to again proactively work on having the right code of ethics embraced as well. So, related to it, sir, how should entrepreneurs and founders instill that proactive, robust governance practices right from start and now as they kind of embrace a listed entity stature in near futures?
It's a very good question. And in fact, it is a fundamental question. It should be the first question to coming into the minds of all entrepreneurs, that how and what they want to prove to the world outside, so that their brand, their image, their conscience actually plays and builds a sustainable perception about the product quality, service, and the corporate image, because that's very important. Normally, people do feel that corporate governance and corporate performance may not be related to that extent. In fact, I believe that a corporate performance is very, very closely related to your corporate governance. If you are today, let us take a very simple example. I would say, what do you perceive about Mercedes cars? And what do you perceive about Maruti cars? We do, of course, Maruti sells millions more vehicle than Mercedes, but which company has that sort of a trust built into for that kind of thing, where you close your eyes and buy that Mercedes car by paying premium? That premium is not only in terms of the content of the car. The car is made of steel and all other electronic parts. It's the same. Maybe any other manufacturer will be using the same raw material. But the way is that, have you been delivering consistent quality without compromising on any values? And do you have that sort of a corporate thinking about the benefiting your customer? Now, if this is not there in the required quantity, then the question of sustainability is the biggest one for any startup or any company, even whether they are big or a large. And that's why I believe that corporate governance should be in your corporate DNA. It is not something which you like go study, get a certificate, and then say, oh, I have got a good corporate governance. No, it is actually governance has to be coming from your internal voice. And therefore, the promoters, the entrepreneurs, and the people who are at the top management who set the tone. So the tone at the top has to flow down. And that is what happens when the management and the promoters and the entrepreneur himself or herself or themselves, they follow that corporate governance, the ethical behavior, the transparency, and have the guts and the courage to admit mistakes. Like nowadays, when you see a lot many automobile manufacturers, they sometimes recall their vehicles because they do find there is some technical defect into it, and they can generally, earlier days it was not happening. It was happening only with few automobile manufacturers, because they would actually call out, because everybody believed that if I recall my vehicle which I have already sold and which is being used by this, then my credibility will go down, my reliability will come under question, and the people and the general public will not like my product, and they may not buy it. Yet to some extent it is true, but I believe, look at the positive side. If you are a corporate, a company which says, okay, my product has a defect and I am here to service you, to either replace or repair and service and give you. I am there with you. Now, that is the perception. That is the image, and that is the core of your sustainable business perception, because that builds your core, that builds your brand image, and that actually takes you to the next level of growth, business acceptability, brand image, and everything else. And so I believe that ultimately the good corporate governance leads to good corporate performance. Yeah.
Got it, sir. Again, taking you from your insights, sir, you made a mention of corporate DNA, and corporate DNA is also about each team member having the right synergies and alignment with the common purpose and thought. And as an entrepreneur, sir, again proactively working towards a potential IPO journey, what qualities or experiences should entrepreneurs prioritize when considering putting together a leadership team in place for a potential future IPO?
That's why it's a very crucial aspect of any corporate. I think this starts at the beginning with the HR interview level. Basically, we should not just be impressed by what's written on paper. I think one-on-one is very important. Try to understand the SWOT of the candidate, particularly when you're looking of a leadership team. That analysis is very important. The mindset, the company and the leadership actually takes the company to the next level, or it can actually take that to next down level. So the corporate fit, the cultural fit, the commitment to the objective and goals of the corporate, of the company, that should align. That alignment is a very very important and very very necessary. It does not actually relate to that more professional, more qualified a candidate is or team leader is. Will he be a professional team leader? Will he be only academically proven team leader, or will he be really a good team leader who can actually provide that guidance, that incentivize, not in monetary terms, incentivize in terms of growth, in terms of giving them an opportunity to do R&D, to develop entrepreneur into intrapreneur. Are you able to get your team a sense that, okay, I am part of the entire entrepreneurial journey and I am also an entrepreneur. I am developing and looking at things from the perspective of a business, not only from the perspective of a limited silo for which I am working. And one has a holistic view, and that is a good leader which actually transparently takes the staff together, keeps the team together, gives them a future vision, and provides them a roadmap. At the same time, you should also have develop a lot of performance systems and rules and regulations, but at the same time, give someone an internal ability to be his or her own, and be able to have that courage to come up, walk up to the top management and say that, yes, this is what I believe. And the good leader will have an open mind in terms of acceptance or rejection. Okay, acceptance or rejection, there is the ultimate outcome. It will depend on so many other things. But the feeling of being approachable, open door policy, as we say, these are important aspect, and I think that will go a long way in terms of building a very good team, a leadership team, and also develop the trust factor, a connect between the leadership team and the employees across.
Got it, sir. Just to draw audience attention, we have kept the format as free flowing because we our belief is that while we will have the shark format towards the end, we can also leverage and optimize the opportunity to gain insights from a thought leader as none less than Mr. Rajnikant Patel. So that's why we have kept it very free flowing so that the insights shared by Rajnikant sir are absorbed by us and we can use them in future. And that brings us, sir, to the next question. about operational excellence. What processes, systems, and metrics should companies put in place to demonstrate process maturity and delivery capabilities to potential investors? Because often at times it is found that the documentation work is taken up or formalized only nearer to the IPO journey. Does it make sense to have and proactively work on this front as well right from start?
I think if we focus this onto getting IPO, because we are now, centering around the IPO as a wealth creation tool. I think it is very, very important for any corporate to be able to put in place systems and processes which are transparent, which are efficient, and which are monitored on a dashboard basis by everybody, and then it is midterm correction, online dynamic correction in terms of deliverables. If there is a mismatch somewhere, is built in from the beginning. Because you see, to there is one like a tick box exercise. Okay, just because you are going for an IPO, there is requirement, so you develop a process. You write a manual, you write some forms, and you start ticking up. This is the tick box exercise, which actually maybe will get you to IPO level, but will it really help you in terms of growth? Which is IPO is not the ultimate; it is just the beginning. Actually, speaking, I believe people sometimes misunderstand that. Okay, as an if I am a corporate and if I have got listed, I have got an IPO and that is done. It is ultimate. No, your journey, that's the first step of your journey of growth, because your growth cannot be limited in a silo. Actually, when you are doing that committed business, and you are looking at the interest of the stakeholder and meeting the real need of the customers, then sky is the limit. And to put you onto that way, on that roadmap, is the start point. And therefore, rather than the very easy looking option of getting ready just 2 3 months ago or 6 months before the IPO journey begins, I think it should be from the beginning. We should inculcate that as your DNA, as your habit, as your systems, and then everything else you build it around that. So operational efficiency doesn't, it's not like that term exam, writing it on a 3 hour paper and then getting marks. It is like your continuous internship, your continuous evaluation. And that is where you do a dynamic correction in terms of your operational efficiency, try to find out gap analysis, do correction, and then you arrive at an optimally efficient systems and processes, which is not the end, which is just a continuous ongoing process. But that can help you when you reach the IPO stage. You are actually hitting the ground running at a speed of 30 or 40 kilometers, an hour. That is where actually your ability to prove to the investing community and investors in per se that you have the mindset, you have the wherewithal, and you have the commitment to deliver what it takes. And it is not fly by night mindset. And that's very bad in terms of I would say growth or sustainability of any corporate. You can, as they say, you can fool somebody for one time, you cannot fool everyone every time, all the time. So basically, if you are looking for a long term vision, if you are looking for a wealth creation, for not only for you and the corporate, but for your stakeholders and for your investors, and you want to do it in a sustainable manner, then start today, start right now your journey of your corporate governance, your operational efficiency, your team building, your vision, your mission, your scoping. All those things should begin just ASAP. And that's where actually you will reap the real fruits of the going to the market and utilizing the IP.
Got it, sir. So you spoke about mindset, and one not so desired aspect which comes from mindset perspective is that Indian startups are found to be on the other side of innovation index. Now few age innovation startups are coming up and aging up very well on the innovation index, And through the recent IPOs, some of the recent IPOs, it reflects that the market has also reacted very positively to such innovation focused startups. On this context, sir, how can companies strike the right balance between their core offerings and investing in innovation so that they appear and also not only appear, they are ahead of the curve as well and sustain that growth momentum for years to come?
The basic underlying fundamental for a startup is to create something new. I think the whole premise is based on which the startup universe is based is that can you bring in a new angle? Can you really fulfill a gap which was existing? Sometimes even the public or the customer or the client, they were not aware about that. And then you actually identified and created this. Now, how do you identify? How do you reach that goal? How do you reach that conclusion that, okay, there is a gap, there is a need for a product or a service, and I am developing that. So that is all what we call R&D, research and development, and that is the core for your innovation. Because innovations, like eureka, it doesn't come in a sleep in your dream. You actually work very hard and persistently. You research, you look at things, you like what Thomas Alva Edison said, 10,000 times he tried and he couldn't light a lamp bulb, and then it inverted, and then we are all witness to the what he has created. So the important thing is doing your research and being innovative is the key. Now, there are two options. One is you do everything yourself. You reinvent the wheel. While the wheel has been already reinvented, which is available, and but you go out doing it. So what does it take? It takes effort, energy, time, and money. This may mean four crucial ingredients without which you cannot actually do any R&D and come to a conclusion or innovate anything out of it. So I think a prudent way for particularly for small and medium enterprise entrepreneurs, startups, is to look at things, but can you rely upon or can you access available expertise which is and the data analysis, the information, and someone on, and that's why mentoring is a very important part of the entire growth story, as a who can actually instill in you uh, distilled expertise, experience, knowledge, and that mixture which you don't have to do yourself, I would say. And that's why you see the number of IP patents getting filed in development, particularly US, uh, is far outnumbered. We are nowhere there, frankly speaking, as an Indian thing. But of course, the things have started changing. It is becoming much more positive, I would say, and that goes to our newer generation of entrepreneurs who actually understand this, the importance of this, and then goes to. But are we there? No. We have many miles to go before we really come call ourselves a startup generation. We still have to do. So I would say always do a mix and match analysis. That sometimes you do your own, and slow and steadily as you grow into your big shoes, you start spending a larger percentage of your capital into R&D. We are very, very minuscule in terms of even big corporates. Of course, multi MNCs are there doing it, but in terms of Indian corporate SMEs, startups, because startups have an issue about finance, SMEs have an issue about knowledge and information and other available tools, and they don't know about it. So I would say that this is the right time to get yourself a mentor and advisor, or come be touch with people who know and who can guide you, and that way you save your effort, energy, focus, and channelize every resource you have into what you want to develop, what you want to achieve, what you want to uh, offer as a product or a service, and then how you to whom you want to be focused on that, and then that can be the formula for a quick sustainable journey for growth.
Right, sir. So now, during the course of the conversation, we have touched upon some aspects related to new age startups. But whatever said and done, market financial analysis को देखेगा ही देखेगा. So from that perspective, sir, what strategies can companies adopt to optimize capital efficiency, manage cost effectively, and project a healthy financial trajectory so that the IPO is well accepted by the market?
Part of it we actually discussed, that you have to have operational efficiency, and operational efficiency translates into profits actually, because if you are efficient, you are utilizing your assets and resources to the maximum, your processes are very comprehensive and complete, so that your turnaround time, your TAT is very much compressed, so that your cycle, business cycle, money cycle, realization cycle becomes efficient, and you actually gain from it, not only profit, but you actually use capital very efficiently. The second thing is very very important, is to understand financial management very thoroughly, and have inculcate sense of financial discipline right up to top to bottom. It is not that the chairman and the board only has to be worrying about the finance. It is also the from peon to president, as they say. Everybody has to understand the importance of financial management, the financial control, and that is across the board. And that actually leads to one thing, that you are not only respecting the capital, and now this is a sharp pitch, so for all the participants, and you are not only expecting the to raise money, but how you're going to use that, how you're going to turn that whole thing into a profitable machine, which actually keeps on giving you an opportunity to create wealth, not only for your investor, not only for yourself, your company, but also for your stakeholders and employees. They are your vendors, your suppliers, your debtors. They are also your the society in which you physically be present. That is your stakeholder. So all the stakeholder. That's why we now focus on ESG, and you build that, you build it into this. Now we have seen Dubai, the entire havoc which was caused by rain, uh, year supply in 1 hour. What is that? Nature, if there is such calamities happen, how are we ready? And that brings, if you have you done your business continuity plan, you have done a BCP, you have alternate sites, you have some other resources, everything, so that a corporate can go on despite certain major natural calamities. And that requires, you should create an internal accrual of finance. You do a good financial management, so that you can actually keep the company rolling, going on, despite the efforts which maybe you might have to put in extra effort, but despite the challenges. So I would say that this all these things together can give you the strength, and make you ready to go out onto the field, in a larger field. Like if you from a gully cricket you go into a stadium cricket, that is how you do that, and then you are ready for your IPO, so that you build that trust into yourself from your investing community, your investors, who actually contribute you to grow, and their expectations are there. So we must have that as your top priority.
Now, sir, speaking about aspects, one aspect which is not openly conversed about is about the equity story. People are not comfortable acknowledging that how you take your equity story or IPO story to the market is also an important consideration. So, how should entrepreneurs or companies or startups craft a compelling equity story that highlights their competitive advantages, market opportunities, and a credible roadmap for future growth for, again, the market to accept it openly and wholeheartedly?
Yeah, see, this is an eternal story. It is not a story which is being written today. It has been in use for a lot many. See, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's an acceptance of a brand, You see, what actually people perceive and what do they see is that, is the brand, whatever may be the corporate, is he reliable? Is that brand trustable? And is that brand demonstrative? That is important. So any corporate, you want to write your equity story, you need to, first thing is that, are you capable? Are you doing, delivering what you say that you are delivering? Are you demonstrating that concept that you are consistently delivering your product or services and consistently serving your client? And maybe, if client satisfaction is one, but your game should be, can you deliver a client delight, customer delight? If you are able to do that, then actually you have created into you a competitive advantage, an edge for yourself. Because after all, in the long term, you may lose your first mover or innovation advantage, and then everybody comes and joins. So now A is selling the same thing or providing the same services, B is doing the same, right from A to Z. There are so many people in the market and who are doing the same thing. So what is so unique about it? Now the product uniqueness may be lost because others have caught up, and others have caught up. Then they may have a little bit more knowledge. They may derive something from your own experience, so they have the advantage. So in that continuous improvement, continuous innovation, and then and higher level and standards of delivery, they are very, very important. And that, how do you deal with your customer right from the entry point to the exit point? That entire chain has to be geared to give that customer a comfort level, a feeling which actually gives you that sort of a ability, which tells you that yes, this is the person, this is the company I am going to go with. And that will increase your profitability. And once you get into that profitability and sustainability, then you are giving your building your story. These are the chapters of your story which proves that, okay, you mean what you say, and you can do and prove what you say. And in the process, you create your strong image, perception, and build your brand and reputation. And as they say, there was a joke when a Rolls Royce was taken by a customer and suddenly it stopped. So he called up the company sent their engineer and everything, and they opened and said that, oh, there is no engine in the car. So I mean, the question is, how did the car run without an engine, even for 100 meters? And the answer was, sir, reputation pe chal gayi. That is the strongness of your reputation, your brand. Of course, there are other counter question to this, but then how did such a reputed company forgot to put engine into the car? That goes to your operational efficiency. But I am just trying to tell you something which is basically the effect and the importance of brand image and brand reputation, and that's the way you build your story.
Got it, sir. Sir, in fact, it's very enlightening because before we entered into this conversation, my perception was preparing for IPO is all about compliance and finance. But through our conversation, it appears that IPO readiness is very multifaceted in nature. There are multiple dimensions to look after, much beyond the conventional financial parameters which one wrongly perceives. So, under this backdrop, sir, what are the typical gaps companies face across legal, finance, operations, and similar aspects? And how can entrepreneurs bridge these gaps effectively before they take the IPO journey?
You're right. There are a lot of the perception is that there, there are two perceptions basically. One is that the going up to IPO requires lot many efforts and lot many things and everything. And that's a lot more uh, personal perceptions. The other thing, post IPO, I'll have a lot of cost of compliance, and that will have an issue in terms of profitability and a lot of harassment in terms of regular compliances with regular reporting, this and that. The journey to an IPO is actually it starts here rather than it starts on a balance sheet. The For most of the people who would feel that, oh, I'll lose my control. This is my company. I built it up, and then somebody else and the people will be owning it, and I'm losing it. That is one. The second thing challenge they face is that I'll have to divulge everything, on a quarterly basis, on a regular basis, half-yearly basis, everything. So I'm going to be at the mercy of others. You see, basically, thing is, it is not only a concept of losing control. Nobody see, we all do have few shares of most of the companies. Have we really gone and sat in the director's cabin? No, we are shareholders, but we don't, because we don't control. Then so that mindset, that challenge, that I'm going to lose the control, that is not there. So the gap of a mindset is not existing, frankly speaking. It should be rectified, and then that, if your challenge is to how to create be readiness and compliances, so it is not that difficult as it seem to be looking. That is so. And compliances are very easy in terms of regulations, that they are very well defined. There are people who actually help you out in this, so that you don't spend your valuable time into doing compliance and at the cost of your business, developing a business. So I would say that the whole way of going to IPO is not only uh, compliance or a lot of requirements being imposed onto you. It is actually giving you an opportunity to go to the next level, to break the ceiling, which generally restricts us, because our mindset is, oh, we are. The other one is complacency. Like, okay, we are doing something good. It is okay. I'm doing so much, making so much money, and this okay. Now, are you yourself restricting and limiting your capability, and not utilizing your talent, your knowledge, your expertise, and then try to create a wealth for yourself and try to go to the next level? Second thing is, are you also restricting yourself, and thereby not depriving the universe, I would say universe, client, that of a benefit which your service or product you could have actually offered, and thereby help in generating wealth for them, help them in becoming more comfortable, becoming more efficient, more proficient, and all sort of things. So why are we putting ourselves into the box while we can actually take the flight to the sky? So I would say, in short, there are requirements, and of course they are doable, and there are people who will do it, and one should not be afraid of that. And those gaps can be easily identified. Your hand holding process can happen, but yes, don't expect overnight miracles. You have to work for it. You need
Right.
to be prepared. That's how it actually goes.
Right. And this brings us to our last question, sir. And we have to make reference to your tenure with BSc. And at the cost of not sounding academic during our entire conversation, so are there any examples which you can recollect, sir, that certain companies who kind of had the correct tick marks on all the aspects which we discussed, that is having the right business fundamentals, execution capabilities, or even investor resonance when they pursued their respective IPO? Any particular IPO success story which comes to your mind, sir?
Okay, let me put it this way. Rather than going into any specific companies, let's look at the way, like, my experience. I won't name, but I have gone through one extreme to another extreme, and I've seen corporates and companies coming to me for listing, who are not ready, frankly. They did not have that sort of what we were talking about, the operational efficiency, the compliances, the mindset, the corporate governance, the ethical issues, all those things. They just looking at IPO as a money making machine. Okay, like we can get as much valuation as we get. And I've seen those companies during my career. I have scrutinized them, I have advised them that you are not doing it right. You can do it right, but you have to actually accept and change yourself. And I have actually rejected those listing proposals. And later on, those companies actually, some of them went down because they did not change their attitude, their governance DNA, their thinking. They did not change, and they went out, and they could never get listed. There were other companies which were actually not too much aware about the whole thing, but they were raw and they came, and but their heart was in the right place. They were doing the right thing, but maybe not in the presentable manner. And those companies actually got guidance and proper guidance, and they actually cleaned up their house, and they came. And those companies IPOs have actually not only done well, they continuously doing that. One of the discussion which I used to do is that don't try to get away whatever is your potential in the IPO by price. By, leave something on table, because if you take away everything, all the water from the tank you have taken, then what others will do? We should leave something on table. And the company, and that's my experience, that if the companies have been reasonable in their expectation, that what kind of IPO levels they would like, and they have left something, the growth on the table, so that when the companies grow, they are post IPO, they deliver that value, they continues to keep growing by utilizing the equity capital, and the investors get ripped. They were able to give dividend, they were able to give more, rights issue, bonuses, and everything. And the investor actually benefited, not only in terms of the stock market valuation, but also through a company's inherent valuation. And I think those are the companies which have done. I can, of course, because everybody knows, I can cite this. Infosys, when Infosys came with an IPO, people, the merchant bankers were actually persuading people, take that at a par value, you take this other good company. And one of the time, Infosys share from 10,000 to it went to 21,000 rupees per share. That kind of growth potential, because they did something right. The governance, and therefore, as I said, good corporate governance actually leads to good corporate performance. So I would say to the startups present here, and whoever are the companies and corporates who are listening in to this, please do your work diligently. Please prepare yourself from beginning and build yourself strong, to the extent that when it's a time for IPO or hitting the market, whether it's a SME market or whether it's a main board, you are all there set, and therefore no surprises or no compliance burden comes on you, because you have already put your systems in place, you have put your all other thing, as if start doing the work as if you are a listed company today. So when you go for listing, you are all there. You are all mature enough, and therefore there is no pangs of a conversion, and you can smoothly roll over. And then with that, I think you can create that wealth for yourself, for your stakeholders, for your investors, and for your initial investors, even if you are a startup. And don't think that if you are a startup today, that means in 3 years' time you will not go. You can go to an SME platform, which is a little low requirements in terms of compliances and everything, and then of course you can become unicorn, and then you can hit the main board. So I believe that everything is doable, and what it requires is a commitment. What it requires is a mindset to do it, and an open mind. And of course, it requires a little bit of expectation management. Don't expect moon in the first year. unicorns are there, but then you just look at the entire universe and the what kind of a unicorn uh, set represents the entire portion of the unicorn. So do it slow and steadily, keep on growing, keep on sustaining yourself and taking to the next level, and I'm sure you will deliver a lot of value for everybody in the system.
Thanks a lot, sir. That was indeed a very enlightening session. You took us through many, many aspects, much beyond the financial domain, as we confessed earlier. Key takeaways which we derive basis the free flowing conversation are, sir, that business is about managing multiple dimensions, and IPO is just one avenue. The opportunity which entrepreneurs have in hand is about unlocking wealth opportunities. And with these two as context, I now invite my colleague Ashutosh to take over and again enlighten us on what interesting revealing aspect he has in mind. Thank you, sir, again very much.
Thank you.
Hello, sorry, we are facing some technical glitches, so Ashutosh will uh, present this slide to my computer. So please, over to you, Ashutosh. You can say.
Sorry for the inconvenience again, and just to make the time till the system migration happens. What we are trying to convey is this is the key takeaways from the earlier conversation. Business management in today's age and time is about managing multiple dimensions. So what Ashutosh will take us through is precisely about this, that if an entrepreneur has to manage dimensions much beyond the conventional or evidently appearing factors, how one should go about. So over to you, Ashutosh.
I hope I am audible. Just confirm, Praveen sir. Okay, great. So thank you so much, Praveen sir and Rajnikant sir, to enlighten us through your journey of IPO and wealth creation. So basically, I would be talking about our project Navleep, which we are very fortunate to tell you that even Rajnikant sir, who is a chairman for this Navleep, who is a part of this project, and he's actually leading this project from the front, along with Anil sir, Arnab sir, and our board members. So I would be talking about this, this now Dristi, which is India's own business management model. It's very unique and it's very impactful. So it's basically help in fixing all your business and management models. which we called as Navdrishti. So just to explain you all that what this Navdrishti is all about and how is it related to my business, because you might say that my business is different. I have different customers, I have different industry. So how it going to align with my business? That is very important. So, let's do it in a different way. And let me ask you a question, which would be better way, I guess. So what if I tell you, we have some implementable models that can help you analyze, evaluate, and improve your current and future business performance. So do you feel, at this point, this model can actually make a difference to you? Just to tell you, we have done a survey when we were doing the phase of product market fit. So we have identified that close to 96 point, I guess 67% have said that this model can make a huge difference in their entire business in order to make their business successful. So let's move to the nerve density, which you can see here. So this is just to explain you, that how we are solving a holistic approach to the entire business. So imagine a business start from a problem, and then you identify prospect, and then you identify team, whom you going to be a part of, and then you identify product. So imagine we cover all these aspects, because as you know that there are 4P in marketing. So if I want to make sure that my marketing is good, I will look on product, price, place, promotion part. But as this 9P cover all the aspects, cover all the aspects which will make sure that your business achieve a sustainable business success through this approach. Okay, moving to next slide. So what if I tell you, as you have seen this 9P, which you definitely, you can understand that this is very critical to a business success. So if any of this P is missing or not in orders, then that could be a area for to improve. So now you can see this 9 dristis over here. So this is a complete solution. This is a complete solution to your business, which we have identified, and we have spent almost 10 years, along with our team to actually even make sure to take care of even a granular details of this, just to make sure that it is effective for entire business, so of course I have a limited time, so I cannot go through all of this. But what I can request you all, if you feel that this could be very important in your business, that we would be organizing a workshop related to this in a month of like a first week of April, May. So you guys can tell to Shruti, and you can line up for this workshop. Okay, and where we will go in details that how this can be yours, tajurba, who is very found Patil Kaki, which also appeared in Shark Tank, which their success is very visible. So maybe in some point we have contributed to that. So I will not take much time to all of you, because we have a lineup for the presentation also. So I will let Shruti take over. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Ashutosh, for such an insightful about nowadays. So, if any of you are interested in this project, do let me know. You can reach out via our cab service number, or you can also email us on our Cap70 email ID, which I will drop in the chat box. So now let's move on to the main event. So we have selected two startups to pitch in this event. Each startup will get 15 minutes of time. In that, 10 minutes will be given for them to evaluate their pitch, and 5 minutes will be Q&A. So to start with, I like Ashutosh to introduce starter. So the first startup we are presenting is Rack Software. This provides end-to-end IT solutions with core expertise in SAP implementation, support and migration, as well as industrial automation. So the company has a strong track record of successful projects delivering for clients across industries. This company has grown rapidly, expanding from 10 employees to 215 employees. So I would like the founder of Rack Tech to take over this pitch. I'll share the screen. To Mr. Praveen? Yeah.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Praveen. Shall we start?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. I'll run your PPT.
Okay, can you move to the next slide? So we have an agenda slides where we will just give you the corporate overview, the strength of the organizations, then some of the financials, and then the future roadmap, what we have planned for the expansions. Moving to the next. So if you see that we started in 2016, 10 employees, and then over a period of time, we started with the multiple business units. And then by 2023, 2024, we are now around 215 employees, including in payroll as well as the contract employees. Next slide, please. So RAK deals into the 4 business verticals. The first one is an ERP, which is mainly into the SAP implementation, support, rollout, and the other works. We also does the work for the other other ERPs like Oracle and the JD, but that work is very limited. So predominantly we are expertise into the SAP areas. The second vertical is the center of excellence, where we used to develop the innovative product for ourselves as well as for our clients. It includes all the new and technology stacks. In the space of industrial automation space, we used to do the industrial automations, IoT, IIoT, and then many of the products also we have done for our clients, which is the BOT model, that is build, operate, and train. And then the fourth vertical is the training vertical, which has been, the need for industries today where there's a gap between the students or the professionals versus the industry demands. Looking at that perspective, we started this division in the last year. Moving to the next. Since our major revenues coming from the SAP or the ERP division, so these are the predominantly services that we used to do it from the implementations perspective. We have application management supports, we does the migrations and the upgrade projects, and this is having the major share into our project deliveries. Move to the next, please. Now, how do we work and how do we operate? So basically, we work into these 4 types of engagement model. The first one is a consulting model where we used to do the T&M or the experienced professionals where we will be done. And then we have the project delivery. We take care of all end-to-end projects and we deliver it as per as the client needs, right from the requirement gathering to the go live and the hypercare supports. Third one is the build, operate, and transfer model, where based on the client's requirement, we build the product, we developed it, we test it, we operate it, we train the resources from the client side, and then we hand over the product to them. And then there are certain value-added services for the process improvements, innovations, product innovations that we used to do it for our clients. Next slide, please. Can we move to the next slide? These are typically the resource management that you see. We have the SAP as well as the other technology stacks, and then the business statistics. If you have seen that our major presence is into the APAC, but we have a little presence into the APAC, MENA, and the USA region as well. If you look at the value propositions, so this is what we believe in, because working into the corporate, and then we have seen many of the corporates, how does it operates, and work, being as an SAP consulting background for 17 years and then moving into the startup, we try to bring all those processes, governance, and the improvements into our organization. So we are predominantly, focused on our robust government. We have a skilled people to keep those intake their motivations and their ownership onto the high. We have a process maturity. We bring all those processes. It is need not necessary to have the reinvent the wheel, but sometimes that there are well defined processes followed by some of the corporates, so just copy paste and use those processes. And also we put those continuous improvement quality processes, we adhere to the SLAs, follow those disciplines, even if there's no demand from the client side, but we ourselves bring those processes and the SLAs to make ourselves stood into the market, and get ourselves aligned as per the demand for the other competitors. And of course, the capabilities perspective, we have the global strategic alliances for the delivery models, including all the regions like APAC, MENA, and the US regions. Now, if you talked about the RAK, these are the critical success factor that we believed, and based on these factors only, we are continuously getting ourselves improved and then getting more business year and year ahead with into the market. We have the senior executives commitment and the leadership commitment from this. In terms of the products and services, our commitment level is always high. Whenever we do the product development for ourselves or for our clients, we make sure that the product is made as per the market standards. It has to be scalable, it has to be efficient. In terms of the services also, we always adhere to the service level agreements. The knowledge acquisitions, as we know, name the name RAK, it stands for resource attaining the knowledge, and that's the primary strength of the RAK, that all our resources having the well equipped and well knowledge, and whenever there is a new resources joining, we impart them a training, we allow them to go for the certification and other things. We also have the experienced SME from the different areas of the business, like oil and gas sectors, like pharma industries, like retail industries. So we keep those experts from various industries background to make sure that whenever we have the projects or whenever we have the deliveries, we always have the business sense and the expertise coming from our resources. And continuous improvement, which is the key factor, where we always believe that even if we are doing well, we wanted to see that what next or what better we can do from RAK standpoint. Next slide, please. Now, the reason why we are getting a project instead of the other client is because we have the faster response and the turnaround time. Whenever we got any kind of a response or the leads from the market from by our executives, we immediately reach out to the people, we talk to them, we set up the appointments, we deliver the SOWs, we deliver the documents, compliances parts. That's the key areas where the other companies, and we have seen that into the market, they take a little more time because of probably the different protocols. Then the effective pricing, as we know that being as a startup and the small organization, we do not have too much of a overhead or the too much of the additional cost. So that's the reason we have the effective pricing. And being into the industry since last 17 years, we know how to do the pricing, what will be the market standards, and how do we can deliver the product and the services with the better quality, and what will be the effective pricing. So that we have the pricing expert who understand what needs to be delivered at which cost. And majority of the resources that we are hiring is from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So that's why our resource costs will also be at the lesser side, and that help us to bring the effective pricing. Also, we do focus on minimizing our operation cost by using certain tools and having the effective utilization of the resources. So these are the key areas where the RAKs is getting the projects many a times when it comes to the competitors. Moving to the next slide. Now, these are our clients and the partners. So if you talked about the client side, we have the mix and match ratio. So we do not focus only on the IT industries, but we have our own OEM clients where the first two lines, if you see that right from Mahindra, Shell, client, these SPX Flow, these are all our OEM clients or the manufacturing clients. And then the third or the last bottom two lines where we see that these are our, the collaborative partners where we used to work with these big giants to understand the market and to balance ourselves so that there should not be having any kind of a dominance that we will feel in terms of the clients that we are portraying or clients which we are competing with these big giants. Now coming to the financial, if you see the RAK's monthly revenue, this is right from year of 2019-20 to 2020, 2023, 2024, we started with having the annual growth or sorry, the monthly revenue, which has been coming is from almost 2 lakhs to 35 lakhs and 40 lakhs at the range right from 2019 to 2023-24. If you talked about the quarterly revenue, again, there will be always onto the incremental mode on year-on-year growth and also the half-yearly revenues. The year-on-year growth, if you talked about, if you see that it is almost close to 80% for the first 3 years, and then this year probably, again, more than the 50%. So RIK is always doing, in spite of a COVID and other challenges that we have faced, we always have our processes, our governance so strong. That's why we always get the projects with the good footprints, and then we have still have a continuous growth as per as the financial terms.
Mr. Praveen will cut this in 1 minute, last 1 minute, yeah, then we'll start with the Q&A. So please try to make it short. Okay, so we'll start with the Q&As. We have 2 to 3 investors present here in the meeting. So please let me know if you have any questions about
let him finish, Shruti, let him finish. Praveenji, if you can finish the final slide, he ask another thing.
Sure. So the profitability ratio, if you have seen that, we have the profitability, the EBITDA is around close to 14%, and then the profit after tax is close to 7%. And moving to the next for the growth plan, just wanted to show you the expansion plan. Maybe Shruti, if you can move to the next slide. So this is our growth plan where we will be seeing that we have the education technology platform, which has already been, in developed stage. It's just being into the launch stage. Then we wanted to plan it for the overseas expansion. We already registered in Australia, but we have a limited operations there, or I would say the minimized operations. And then we already have a collaboration with Canada, which is going to be start soon in the next month. And then we wanted to do the collaborative business with the major giants into the overseas. We already have our footprints into the government sector, so that we are going to encash in next financial years. And we already started training division, which is going to be, get us a more business into it. We also had done some investment into our startup, which is into the food business, the name iCottage Card. And this is going to get return on investment in next 3 years. Next slide. This is what the revenue projection, which we are planning to have it in another 3 years, where this is basically the consolidated revenues. If you see the first chart, the second chart, which we have seen, is based on the product that we have already developed and which is going to be, which is already been in the market, and some of them which is we launch into the market. And based on this, if you see the growth or the expansion plan or the revenue projection which we are is having onto the exponential level. In terms of the BU-wise revenue growth, it is also been, close to 100% or more than 100%, which we are expecting from the financial year, this financial year to another next 3 financial years. Next slide, please. Can we move to the next slide?
Shruti, move it fast.
I think we lost Shruti. Okay, so the revenue that we are, or the funds that we are looking for is where we are going to invest those funds. The first thing is the overseas expansion. Of course, starting the operations into the Australia and Canada will always need some money. We wanted to build a strong sales team for the exponential growth because we have a multiple products that we are going to launch. Yes, we have spent a good amount of money into the R&D. We wanted to do the branding and marketing for our new projects, which is going to be, a game changer as an education technology platforms. Then we also invested in the new product development, which we already have some innovative ideas into the mining industries, also into the oil and gas industries. And that's the reason we wanted to do the investment into the new product development. The next one is we wanted to expand the team from the overseas areas where we will be having the resources at Australia, Canada, and the other regions, and then in India as well. And while doing those expansion, we need to have, a better infrastructure, we have to give them a good hikes, good salaries, and that will need, a budget or the funds from. And of course, from the compliance perspective or the certification, recently we have done the ISO 27000, but we wanted to do it, onto the compliance point of view. We wanted to showcase that we are a compliance, 100% compliant company. So to obtain that, the next year target would be CMMI level 1, level 2, and then moving ahead, we wanted to reach out to CMMI level 5. That's the target. So this is what the money is going to be flow into the business when we wanted to ask for the investment. I think we have covered.
Okay, I will request all the esteemed investors present here to start with the Q&A sessions. Mr. Praveen would be happy to answer all these questions. So,
Praveenji, how do you make it scalable? This is, I assume this is people driven, where you have around 200 people. So as you grow, you need more people. How do you make it scalable?
Correct. So when we talked about the scalability, so when we say RAK is not only the service-based organization, but it is also the product innovative organization. So we already have a couple of products which is already been into the market. One of them is a gas station ERP, which is currently into the US market. There's one education technology platform which is going to be launched into it. Now, while doing those things, we need a resources for product as well as the services. Now, if you talked about the SAP industries or the market that has been having for the total addressable market, if you talked about for these kind of an industries like RAK. So by 2022, the total market addressable market is around 967 million by 2022, and the next year probably is going to be by 2028 it is going to be around 1200 million. In terms of the product, in terms of the services, if you talked about, the total addressable market by 2022 is close to 9 billion. and then it is growing around, sorry, yeah, 178 billion, and then it is growing 9.4% every year. Now, when we talked about the service obtainable market from our perspective as an RAK, so we wanted to be a 300 million company by 2030. By looking at that perspective, what are the things that we need to do is we do not focus only on the services. We also wanted to focus on the innovative product, which will be to the market, which will get the market, which is going to be the demand of the market, and it will always be, get a high demand, and then we will penetrate into the market in a such a way that our competitors may not get an opportunity for that. And for that reason, we are driving the strategies. Now, while doing all those things, we need a force. Now, those force will be related to the product development, force will be related to the product support, force will be related to the services. This is about the product. When we talked about the services, predominantly we are into the SAP services, but we also have the center of excellence where we used to do the other projects. Now, while doing all those things, we need resources. If you talked about the SAP ECC to S4 on a conversion, there are 3027 companies which needs to be done by 2027. Now, if the current companies and the implementation partner has those capacities to develop those things, the answer is no. And probably that is the one of the major reason that SAP is going to extend their support for the ECC to 2030. Now, while considering all those aspects, if we will have a strong force, we can approach to the clients and say that, okay, even if SAP is allowing you to continue for 2030, why don't you start at 2027 or 2025? Because we have a team, we have a strength, and we can do it for you. And that is the reason we need to have the peoples.
Okay.
Dude, I didn't get the revenue numbers for 2023, the gross revenue, and how much of that is coming from the SAP side.
So if you talked about the gross revenue is close to 7 CR, and out of which around 50% of the revenue is coming from 50 to 55% is coming from the SAP side.
Okay.
And predominantly we started the SAP practices in 2020, 2021.
Okay. Okay. So how many people are there in SAP practices?
Now we have around 80 people into the SAP practices on a payroll, and then there are 35 people onto the contract. Those contract people are overseas people because, getting those onto the payroll is a typical challenge for us.
Okay. But with around 100 people on SAP and with gross revenue of around 3.5 CR, do you think there is a mismatch, or there is some potential that...
Of course, that is the reason we have a profit after tax is only 6.67%. So if you look at the pictures, the profit margin, if you talked about any IT industries, you will see the profit margin of around 25 to 30%. But when we talked about the RAK, our EBITDA itself is a 40%. So which is 50% less than the average market standard.
But does that mean the SAP has not been profitable for you as a practice? And is that something that you would like to get out in some time?
What we believe is whatever we are earning, we wanted to pass it on a major share of those to our employees and the contractors, because they are the assets of the organizations into the IT industries. And that is the only reason, because if you look at the example where the person who is working with SAP Lab or Accenture, why would he join RAK? So the reason is when we are giving them such kind of an environment, culture, some exciting opportunities with some good handsome hike, then only the person will, of course, salary and pay stuff will comes at the second stage, but that is always a bread and butter for the employee. So we have to take care of all those things. And that is the only reason we have a less profitability. But moving ahead, when we will be having those good projects where we were having the competitive bidding and we have a product, then probably we will be having, the more profitability from the product perspective, because product organization will always have a higher profitability.
Thanks.
So, If anyone has the questions about like software, do let me know. So let's meet a pitch. We can surely connect offline and take this forward. Now coming to another software, we have Feeling
Shruti,
Perfume
I'll take
LLP.
5 seconds. Shruti, just allow me. So thank
Yes,
you
sir.
everyone for giving us an opportunity to present and showcase our company. It is a great honor to be, participate into this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Praveenji.
It was an honor to have you. So coming to the another startup, it's Feeling Perfume LLP. Feeling Perfume is a pioneering new retail experience that revolutionized the way customers discover and engage with perfume. So their innovative perfume boutiques is designed in the style of classy modern bar, offer a fresh and immersive shopping journey unlike anything seen before. So I would like to invite Mr. Hatim Ameriwala, who will be taking this speech. Over to you, Mr. Hatim.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity, and I would just like to brief about Feeling Perfume first. Feeling Perfume brand we started in 2019, and this is a brick and mortar format where we have retail physical stores across airports and malls. Uh, can we just go to the previous slide if possible? So basically, Feeling Perfume Bar is a concept where we customize. Yeah, little down. So Feeling Perfume Bar was launched in 2019, and we are a brick and mortar format. As I told you, we have stores across malls and at airports, and we basically have 24 fragrances which we sell right now. The concept is very unique, and why do we call it a bar is because as you go to a bar with your glass, you can refill your beer glass. Similarly, this concept is to customize and use a perfume, personalize your own perfume, make your own perfume, and when it's over, you come back to us and refill your own perfume again. So this is the bar concept, and as you can see, we have 24 fragrances currently, and we have 12 operational stores across the country. Um, we have also got 4 franchisee stores, adding the number to 16, but company-owned stores are 12 stores right now. And if you can just go down, Shruti, one more slide. One more slide, please. Yeah, so these are, I will brief you about all the 24 fragrances and our top sellers in the detailed presentation below. But I would like to explain you about the concept first. Slide below this, Shruti. One more. This is my profile. One more. Yeah, just a slide below this. Yeah. So as I told you, why Feeling Perfume? So the first major attraction to our stores is customization, where customers can blend different scents, different notes, and create their own fragrance. And this gives them a very personalized and experience to get involved in the process of making their own perfume. The experience is very interactive, where a customer comes, fills up his own bottle, makes his own sense, and this gives them a very memorable and enjoying outing. And of course, our sales staff is being trained, is expert guidance, and they have full knowledge of what blend has to be made for the customer according to their taste and personality. And the last and final is quality. So we import all our compounds from the same international firms where the international perfumery guys import their products from. But the pricing, what we have done is we are one third the pricing of all the international brands. So if you name all the international brands like D&G, Christian Dior, or all these international, we have all the inspiration and at a very good affordable pricing. So we say international quality at a very affordable pricing. Let's go down. So as I told you, these are few of our inspiration products which we have named them Addict, Allure, Aquafire, Bliss. These are the names which we go with our perfume, perfumery in a different range. And on a perfume chart, we have all the notes covered. So basically, if you want a flora perfume or a aqua based or a woody or oriental or musky, we have all the notes covered with all our 24 fragrances. Can you just go down? So this is one of our unique concept which we have. So if you see the bottles behind are the bottles where we fill up the notes, we fill up the fragrances, and we have dispensers below that where a customer comes and mixes and fills his own perfume category. One slide down. Okay, so as I told you, we started in 2000, we incorporated this company in 2019, but our first store started in 2020, and this started in Bangalore, and we got a tremendous response. Unfortunately, COVID hit the same year, and we were not able to expand more. But now, today, we are standing at 12 operational stores from the company. We started with a turnover of 17 lakhs per annum with our first store. Now we are close to around 2.75 crores per annum with our 12 stores. And these are just our brick and mortar sale. This is not online sales. We have this year is when we are launching our e-commerce platform. Go down. Yeah, so I will show you some photographs of our current. These are our bottles. These are our packaging. These are exclusive bottles and exclusive packaging what we have for our brand. Shruti, you can run down the photographs of all the stores. I have just this is our boutique store. This is basically in Phoenix Mall in Indore, and the bottles behind what you see are where we do mix and match with the customer. We also have ready fragrances, but customer love to involve themselves mix and matching their own perfume. Can you go down? Yeah. So these are our current operational stores. We have 12 company operational stores, and we have airports stores which are basically franchise stores. And we have Guwahati Airport, we have Kannur Airport, Trivandrum Airport. These are our franchisee stores. Come down. Okay, now you can run down all the photographs of our boutiques. So this is how our store looks like. They are in 3 different formats. This is a wall concept, which we have, which basically we get in malls. Yeah, this is in Lulu Mall, Bangalore. This is in Orion Mall. This is circular kiosk again. Yeah, this is in Hyderabad, Sharat City, Tapadia, Amravati, Lulu, Lucknow. This is Adani Airport at Lucknow. Okay, so basically the key points, what we have, our USP is, we are the brand which basically wants to fill up, give a customer international perfumery at a very affordable pricing. That's the most important thing. And as you know, the shift of Indian market itself, there is an increasing demand, and because of the youth, the urban population, the Gen Z, and all are moving towards using their own they have been educated now well enough to use their own fragrances, and that's why we are at a growing pace. And the demographic, the segment, the preferences of the customer, the regional preferences of each customer are different, and we cater to all the complete wheel chart of the entire fragrance aromas. And expansion, we are on expansion mode, and we are looking at expanding throughout the country. But this year is when we also want to launch our e-commerce business, which is on a very high demand, and we want to get into our e-commerce business this year. So, guys, this was about my business. This was a short brief on the Feeling Perfume Bar. Um, I have not projected any the numbers here, but yeah, I'm ready to take the questions and answers.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hatim, for such a wonderful elevator pitch. We are now open to Q&A. I'll request esteemed investors present here to ask their questions.
Hello, Mr. Hatim.
Hi, sorry, I didn't get your name, ma'am.
My name is Deepthi.
Hi, Dipti. Yeah.
Yeah. So need to understand that you are into this concept of perfume making, instant perfume making. So as
Yeah.
we know, this comes into the cosmetic rules and regulation under FDA, correct?
Yes.
How do you manage? Because when you're saying customized perfume, how do you
Yeah.
manage to store these solvents in each of your stores? What is the kind of licensing process are you following here?
So, ma'am, as you said, we incorporated this in 2019, but we took a lot of time to open up our first store just because of the licensing issues. We had a lot of meetings in Karnataka, in Delhi for licensing, because if you store ethanol, you have a specific requirement to store ethanol. And but there are some good things. We basically are not, we mention ourselves as EDT and not EDP. And that gives us the leverage to come out of, ethanol licensing, and we can basically, and our production basically have all the other licenses except ethanol saving license.
So when you are not adding this particular ingredient to make it an ED, then how are you managing to compete the bigger brands to last the perfume? As you know that there is a formulation because of which the perfumes last for long.
No,
So in
so
this
ma'am,
case,
we do use ethanol. We do use ethanol, but in the licensing process, there is a, certain amount of quantity of ethanol which cannot be saved at one place, and that is
exactly.
more than 2 liters. So what we do is basically all our stores has lesser quantity saved at the store, and we keep most of the things in the warehouse.
Because as far as I understand, there would be a lot of permissions with safety involved into this because even
Absolutely,
two
less than
liters
two
is not.
liters is allowed.
Second thing is, you said that you have your 24 fragrances of your own, which you
Absolutely.
have designed. So when you say a person can come and customize, how will the node of 29 different perfumeries that you're trying to mix and give it to somebody? Because every node has its base node, top node. So how is that chemistry matched? How is a person?
For that we have, we have a mixologist who train our staff, on a daily basis. This is a very tough thing. So what we do is basically we have inspirational notes, we have woody notes, we have flora notes, we have aqua notes, and then we have a chart at each of our store where we display, what notes matches or complements each other. And so before the customer mixes it, we do layer the fragrance, and give them a experience of it, how it's going to smell.
So the customer can get a 25th fragrance out of your 24 fragrances
They
blend.
do it, yeah, they
So
do it.
if they do that, then technically also this goes against the FDA norm of having each fragrance registered. So when we apply for FDA, for the Foods and Drug Administration, especially in
Absolutely.
Form 25, they're very strict that each formulation has to be registered. So in this
Yes.
case, how have you done that? Which I would be
Okay,
interested
ma'am,
to.
this I really have to check, but as we are present at airports, and airports, we had faced one issue of packaging, where because the pressure in the aircraft is, it doesn't it needs to be air pressured, bottle packed. So at airports, what we have changed our model is very simple. We do not sell mixed products. We sell our packed products there, which is doing extremely good. If you see our Guwahati store or a Lucknow store,
So,
We
but
have
then,
the same. Yeah, so
then
customization becomes a question there, but yeah, that is one point which we cannot do at airports. So as you said rightly, we do have packs. We do a ready pack for a customer in that way, a pack of six where he can buy those packs and then layer it himself at home.
so basically, your model is in its own self, it's customized for your own company depending
Absolutely.
where the store is placed. So it is not a standard model across. If
Malls, we are at the standard one, but
I think
airports, yeah.
in Mumbai, how many stores you are there? As far as
Bombay,
in
we are not
Mumbai,
present, ma'am. We currently have 12 operational stores. We have Guwahati Airport, Lucknow Airport, Kannur Airport, Trivandrum Airport, and we are opening up
even
at
your
Jaipur
flagship
Airport.
stores. No, apart
No,
from
Bombay, we
airports,
are not.
malls.
We are South based, ma'am. We are Bangalore based.
So,
We are
Mr.
Bangalore.
Hatem, I think the day you reach Bombay, I would be very much interested because I know here you're going to face a lot of legal issues when it
But
comes to
ma'am, my
Mumbai.
my my colleague, one of my very close competition has just opened up a store in Bombay, in Orbit Mall, if I'm not wrong. Uh,
Mhm.
he's also Bangalore, Kerala based. I mean South based, so I know him very well.
You can
And
ask him the
we
problems he's facing, and I know what brand you're talking about. So,
MYOP,
because
yes,
so there are a
MYOP
lot of
is
So there are a lot of challenges. It's a very cute, very good concept because years back, a European company has come into India to start the same thing, but they were
it.
pushed
Yeah,
back hard because they didn't fit into the licensing part of this entire thing. Because definitely, perfumery is the most top. So it's become like an everyday routine where you
absolutely.
see where you have competitive brands in the D2C domain which are selling at 699 and 599.
Yeah.
There to compete with them is also a big question.
Yeah, we are
So
facing this in all our stores because Bella Vita has now expanding physical stores, which they were never. Then Men Company is coming up with, and in fact, not only this, all the brands itself are launching their own perfume brands now. So competition is tough. That's why you have to be different, and this is a USP which we play around. But another thing is also that the longevity, the quality of our perfume. That's why my retention of customer is very very high. We sell close to around 2,000 bottles from these 12 stores right now a month, and we get close to around 40% repeated customers, and which is very very good for us. Of course, why I'm coming, so far it was all, bootstrap funding, and it was all funding done by my own money. But now why I'm looking at getting into partnership is because I need to expand more faster, before the competition does. And also I want to launch my e-commerce business this year. So we have done a lot of R&D, a lot of thing for launching quite few new products, which of course my competition would be also working on it. But this year we are launching two new products, which will be a complete game changer for my brand, and I want to do it ASAP. So,
but when you say you want to commerce, then again your concept of customize will go off. How will you
yeah,
balance the
so
three?
we as a feeling perfume mother brand, we are also relaunching a few other products which basically will help me on e-commerce on a very different level. So as I told you, we have a pack of six which we are going to market it now, and these are layering products. So six products where you can make 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, or 3 plus 4 is equal to 5, and from a six fragrances, you can make around 24 fragrances of your own. So you can that layering is going on in our R&D. It is at a final stage right now. The second product which I'm going to launch now is no ethanol, no chemical, water-based perfumes, which is not mist, which is a proper perfume, proper EDT, and the longevity and everything is going on a trial basis right now. And the same perfumes will also be based out of ethanol. So the same fragrance will have two different variants. One is a non-ethanol base, one is a full complete ethanol base.
So you're getting this R&D done in India, or you're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
this water technology
yeah,
is done
it's
within you.
yeah,
That's
we
quite
already
interesting.
yeah.
That's quite interesting. Anyways, we'll connect later on this.
Yeah, sure,
There
ma'am.
are, yeah. I need what I see into your business is where you started. The seed of your business is not taken the way it's grown. It's diverted in different according to the market,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
It
lost
has, it has.
of what you started. What you started is really very interesting because this was something which always was there in my mind, but I knew the technicalities error to this. Let's see.
Ma'am, we went to Delhi also for permissions, but unfortunately, me and Naveed is the owner of MYOP, and we went together. In fact, there was a guy from Bombay also known as Amit Sinha, and three of us went to the corporate,
TDSA.
the government, and asked for a lot of help, but it didn't work out that time. That this was in 2019.
I can believe in that. Anyways, looking at your revenue, let's connect later. I will speak to Mr. Alok and then we'll.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, Temji. This is Anil Goyal.
हाँ sir, बोलिए.
Yeah. So first of all, very nicely presented, and the concept is really very nice. Something new for me. Few things related to finance. One is um store level. How is our unit economics working? Second, you can answer all together. Second, when you started, you said around 17 lakhs was your first year turnover. Now you are
Yes,
at 2.7 crore turnover with 12 stores. So still it is around 20 lakhs rupees per store.
per
Uh,
store,
uh,
yes.
so what is the break even at each store, and how do you manage fixed cost of setting up the store and other things?
Okay, okay, okay. So I'll just give you a very quick rundown. My stores are basically a kiosk format. These are very small stores. My outflow is close to around for each of my location. My outflow along with salaries do not exceed more than 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees per store. This includes a salary, CAM, rent, my logistic, my everything. And my each average store, my best store does around 6 to 7 lakhs per month. My smaller stores like Amravati, which is a smaller market for me, does around 1.5 to 2 lakhs, which is also a break-even store. My store level performance out of my 12 stores, my three stores are, at a, I would say, par or below the par average. But my nine stores are performing and profitable stores on a store level basis. Now comes on my production and my back end is the major cost for me right now because the procurement comes from Italy, France, and the bottles come from China, and a lot of packaging material, this, that. So my backend cost is the heavy cost, which I basically invest completely on. For each store, I basically invest anywhere between 18 to 20 lakhs on each of my store. This includes the mall deposit or the airport deposit or whatever. And I break even for on store level. I break even within 15-18 months easily. My margins are very high. In
Okay.
perfume category, margins are very, very high. I'm say I
When
can
you say
disclose it
high
later.
means, when you say high means
My
it is
production
more
cost
than
is very low. From my
more than
MRP,
60-70%.
more than that.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Second thing, what is the revenue composition between refill and the new bottle?
So that is the advantage what we give it to the customer. So you can ask any beauty and people who are in this industry. The perfume what to buy is that we make it in bulk, we make it in liters, we make it in thing. So our per ml cost for the liquid is very, very low. The main amount on our entire expenditure goes into bottling,
Bottle.
packaging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when a customer comes back to me to refill his thing, we give him a 50% discount straightforward on the MRP price, and that attracts it a lot. That makes our
So your
customer come back
margin,
to us.
your margin increases. Your margin increases in the refill. They are
Absolutely.
better than
Margin remains the
the bottle
same.
one.
For me, margin remains the same actually
Oh,
because I give 50% off to the customer.
mhm.
So,
Mhm.
and believe me, I'm say the people love to come back and fill up their, perfume in the same
So
bottle.
are they coming? So what is the revenue composition? If you are earning 100 rupees from one store, how much
Yeah,
coming from the refill part
30,
and
35% is refilled.
Okay,
35% is
that's
required.
great.
Yeah, and we make people feel that they are giving back to the environment. They we do a lot of marketing towards that also,
That's
so they
good
feel
concept.
happy coming back. Some people don't even take carry bags now when they come back.
Very good. Sure. So we'll definitely we'll take it forward. We'll discuss offline again, Hatimji. And
Yeah, sure, sir, sure. It will be great.
Thank you, Mr. Hatim.
Yeah,
We
thank you,
it,
Shruti.
it was gracious to have you here to pitch on our event. So, as uh, as we bring this exciting CAP70 events to end, I would like to thank all the participants, esteemed startups who presented today, and also the investors who connected today for guiding us for the guidance on mentorship and invaluable insights on the startups presented here. So we are really honored to have you here. I would also like to thank Mr. Rajnikant Patel for taking his time out and joining our event and sharing his insights on IPO. Mr. Rajnikant Patel, thank you so much. We look forward to see you in future events as well. So thank you so much, everyone.
Sure. Thank you.
So is this the end of the event?
Yes, sir. We see you for the, we will definitely see you for the future events. We come to an end to this event. Thank you so much.
Okay.
so
Thank you.
since Rajnikantji is here, if anybody would like to ask question to Mr. Rajnikant Patel, we can.
Yeah,
We
if
can
anything specifics,
yeah.
particularly in respect of
If
business
anybody is
growth and
looking at IPO, yeah.
yeah, that I'll be happy to answer that and interact on that. It would be great, even from the investors' perspective, even from the startups' perspective. It would be great to interact with you. So please shoot.
Good evening, sir. This is Praveen from RK Software Private Limited.
Yeah.
Just wanted to understand when we talked about IPO, you have already given the insight. But the companies like IT industries, where we have predominantly 7 years old, and then we are into the market and having a growth around 160, 70 to 80% year on year growth. What would be the next step that we wanted to see for the IPO perspective?
You see, let's see. You have been there for 7 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in your 7 year journey, if you were to just plot from first year at 0 to the seventh year is X, what would be your X? Right. Now,
Yeah.
figures we can talk later on. I'm just giving you the concept. If
Right.
you send from 0 to 7 X, whatever year time it is, now say let somewhere before you go on to your IPO journey, we need to you need to understand that okay, where is your wall and where is that glass ceiling which you want to break. After all, 7 years is long enough time for you to have your vision, your targets, and everything set. And of course, software industry is a very dynamic industry.
Exactly.
So it's unlike Mr. Hatim, who was manufacturing physical perfume. You manufacture, or we all manufacture something in the thin air, right? So you need to understand that what is the next turnaround which you want to go, and how much time of window of opportunity is available for you to capture that. Now, I believe 7 year is mature enough. And if we look at suppose we interact and then we understand, if I understand your company profile, how your journey is, what where you are and what your vision is, then I believe that whatever I heard from little from your presentation, I believe that you are mature enough to not only if figures of course will tell whether which level you go, whether you go for a SME or whether you go for a main listing, main board like the BSc or NSE, or whether your BSc NSE SME platform. So if you look at spend more time into your journey, the more time you spend a little bit, unless you show that sort of a growth where you can actually go into directly into main board, otherwise your window actually starts getting narrow. It's a bullet sort of. The more time you spend as a company, then you have already, and you are still at a particular level of growth, then the bullet becomes narrow. So you have 7 years, I think, and if you believe yourself to have something on table which you can bring it, I think you are ripe for considering that. And of course, it will help you in terms of getting ready in terms of what requirements, and see that you are looking at, of course, you are here, so you're looking at funding. So how do you actually get that, and how do you utilize it to really create wealth for everybody around, as I said in the beginning? Now it's very, very simplistic for a startup, new startup or early startup, to look at the valuation 400 crores and I will dilute at 10% and I'll walk away with 40%. This is how it works, right? But that's the expectation. We need to understand it maturely when you are looking at the IPO. Angel investing, we see this is different level. That's a whole different ballgame. But when you look at the IPO, it's a whole different ballgame in terms of not only financials, but in terms of your approach, your ability, your growth strategy, and your, as they say, as we were discussing, operational experience. So that efficient, all this put together, we need to do an assessment, self-assessment. We can do a rating of yours, and then we can actually understand that where do you stand, and how can you leverage that whatever experience you have and the journey to torpedo you into the next universe. So that's the way. And if you have the real commitment, it can be done. And then you have a stroke, at a stroke you have whatever you need to really boomerang into the whole thing. So I believe that it all depends on your commitment, and it depends on your vision and your goal, that where you want to go, how fast you want to go, and how you will go there. So I believe IPO is a great way forward for an organization like you to unlock the wealth for everybody around. But of course, the first and the foremost is commitment and delivery. I think unless you are sure, you see, it is okay. Here we have a few investors, and we can grill you, and we can talk to you, and we can then take a decision. But when you go out in open in the market, then it's not only one or 10 investors. You are responsible, and that's very big statement to
Correct.
make, that you are responsible to the entire investing community.
True.
And you will be kind of accountable for that. So if you have that mindset, yes, it can be done, it's doable, it can be done. And one should look at it if one is committed enough. If one is only into the valuation game, okay, I'll take my 40 crores and go away. IPO is not the thing for you, frankly speaking. I'm being very straightforward, that we have seen, we all have do look at startups, and somebody who has not even spent 40 lakhs, their valuation expectation was 400 crore. Then we had a fun trying to bring that people, those people into the ground, that 400 crore is nothing, that I take it out from my pocket and give it to you. I generally, if we ask me 400 rupees chill change, we don't carry it, right? So that is where Dipti ma'am is smiling, but that is how it is. This is the
No,
way it happens.
I have a
Yes, sure,
question.
go ahead.
I have been a part, or I have been in a journey of helping my customers achieve IPO. And
Yeah.
I've also been in the journey because I'm into the business of manufacturing of cosmetics. So I come from the beauty domain, and the recent IPOs which have just come out, and the IPOs which are in pipeline in our industry, I know so very well because I'm manufacturing for them. I know the number of, the quantum that I'm doing and the valuation game that's happening. I sometimes sit back and understand who is the one who is evaluating this. Because if I have to
Absolutely.
individually calculate the equity of the founder, I think I would be three times than the founder. So I was thinking, should I think of an IPO? But then
That's
it's a responsible job. You cannot.
yeah, it is very, very serious matter, because you see, so long as we keep on fighting or praising each other in house, it's good. The moment we come out in the society compound, then it becomes different. And you go out of the society compound and start fighting or start whatever you are doing, dancing, it becomes totally different. Now
Correct.
this is the same thing. When you,
No,
as a startup, it is like in the closed ecosystem. When you
so, but
actually
then
want to
how
go
come
into
a
IPO,
startup which is just 6 or 5 years old,
yeah,
is there no benchmark? I mean, what I understand is there has to be some criteria, because we see this D2C market. Because I closely see, I have been working for a retail segment. I have seen Reliance Tata growing. I understand, they're going to that level, and even when they are starting trying to move towards D2C, even that is going so professionally, slowly with the pace. But these brands going so fast and achieving reaching IPO, they are setting a wrong benchmark, is what I see. Because what has happened is today people are not wanting earning money. The goal is IPO come out, charge, as you said, 40% lower exit margin. So
exactly,
it's
exactly. Like if you talk about Reliance, you remember when did Reliance retail started? Way back. The whole thing. It was between 10 years, and then it did not work. The big bazaars and the demands and everything, it could not compare. And you remember Reliance, actually, I have seen myself in Ahmedabad. Reliance was selling tires, car tires and everything, and it was selling jewelry, gold jewelry and tires in the same platform. So
oh,
from there, yeah, or same store, same physical location. First you enter on the right hand side, there are tires, car tires and bike tires, and then you go into the jewelry shop. So it is there. But now today you see how they have matured, how they have actually gone, and how they have actually leveraged the experience of so many years, and then understood the business, understood the marketing psychology, and now they are doing it so slow and steady. And that's why when Praveen was actually asking, I said that, Praveen, you have been there for. If the same question was asked to me by, say, 1.5 year old startup, I would have given a very different answer, because that's people. And Dipti, it's not only that it happens with startup; it happens with mature people also. I have turned down so many IPOs, companies, saying that, what are you doing? You are creating X time of a valuation in IPO. You want to take away everything and then leave nothing on the table. So whoever is investing, what they are going to hold? Nothing is there after IPO. Nothing remains in the organization, which actually creates wealth into the hands of the investor who is coming into IPO. So that's sort of a greed, and I have seen those IPOs fail,
so
despite if they
sir,
don't listen.
once sorry, so once the
Yeah,
IPO is out, once the IPO is out, it doesn't share any responsibility to report back. Okay, they have these annual reports coming at on, but it doesn't, as you said, it is responsible. But I don't see these brands going that responsible with the money that they're taking in. The during application, the criterias are different. Today, functional criterias are different. So there has to be this body who's operating and looking at them, because in our industry, in the wellness and beauty industry, it's going right, left, and center.
I do. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like VLCC, if you take, okay. I mean, I see. No, there are two things. One is the main board, which is
Hmm.
BSc and NSE, which is basically a larger corporation. And then you have a quarterly report. You have to have a very disclosure norms. It's an insider trading and all those. They are very strictly followed. And in my career, I have also put some people, sent some people behind the bars for whatever wrongdoings they have done. So it happens that way. And it is very or related party transactions, basically. Of course, I'm going into the technicalities, but simply said, if you are the promoter and your son is supplying to your company, then it becomes a related party transaction,
Correct.
because you want to, it is coming from the family, or it is coming from your uncle and auntie or something. So those are the restrict regulations are there, and SEBI follows it through the stock exchange. Now, the SME, and just for information, SME concept, the exchange SME concept was designed by me and given to the government way back in 2007, 6 or 7.
Great.
And it took them maybe 10 years to come out with the SME exchange. First SME exchange was BSE SME exchange. So it came. So my idea was there that, okay, we generally cater to the large corporate. And of course, it is good in terms of risk and everything for the retail customer, customer who invests his provident fund and everything into that guys has to be catered to and looked after. But I said, on the other side, the people like Praveen and others who are and startups who are with us, they also need to be nurtured. They also need to be, provided an opportunity to prove themselves. And what better way? Of course, we have a VC funding, angel funding, all sort of thing that is at an individual level. But can we actually broad base the participation? And on one side, they can get access the equity capital in an easier way. On the other side, their growth, which they grow, and they are going to grow in a multiples, much larger multiple than the already established HULs and others, basically. So can that be passed on to the retail investor, the small investors who can actually make some good wealth creation opportunities? So that's why so the regulators have decided to give a little bit leeway in terms of relaxed compliances. Compliances are little relaxed, so that they don't really have a lot of cost of compliance and a lot of compliances, because compliances carry a huge cost. Huge cost. So it is a costly thing. So that's why they've given.
So SME exchange program data is where? Where is the information that one SMEs would?
It is available on the NSE BSE's exchange website. It's almost the same. The whole thing is that it runs on the same system but with different parameters. And the company which is listed as an SME, they have a little less regulation in terms of reporting and disclosures and everything. They also have to follow broad level parameters, but it's not so stringent as or so frequent as the main board listed company. So going from that, the whole idea, as you know, it's a typical classical eternal chore and police story. You make a rule, others are going to violate it. Then you make another rule, they will be 2 steps ahead. See, it's always the police who is chasing the chore, right? It's never
he makes a rule with a hole. He makes a rule with a hole. So he gives that opportunity, na?
Yeah. So
there is always a pathway hamesha har system mein.
Right,
so
absolutely.
Like also have a pathway, na? That's what I'm saying. Bombay mein aake yahan mushkil hai.
So what happens? Because there is a relaxation, some people with we talked of corporate governance DNA, people who do not have that much DNA in their governance in their DNA, they can try to take advantage of this gaps or the relax, and some SMEs do end up doing that. And it's also a systemic issue. Basically, it's not one person to be blamed. Like in some of the merchant bankers also promise them moon. Okay, give me so much money as a fees and I will get your SME done. And then there are ways and means of everything. And that spoils the market for the genuine people. Like people who really want to grow. People, if you every day you see this SMEs are failing, then you will say, okay, why should I invest into SME? Like last year in 2023, 35,000 startups closed down. Now it's a big number. It's a big number. Now, of course, somebody need to do root cause analysis. What are the major causes for failure? Was it governance? Was it exuberance and avoidable exuberance? Whether the due diligence was not done properly, whether the monitoring was not done properly, whether the proper guidance was not given, so that the people got misguided, and in over enthusiasm they lost the financial discipline. Most of the things actually come around the same core. Basically these are the things. And as a startup, people want to see that, oh, my startup advertisement should come, marketing should come, most of the chunk goes there, rather than developing a core business. Spend more on the business development rather than marketing and business development. They are two different functions. People get in their own over enthusiasm, they get confused. They take one is to be another. Marketing is not business development. So
Correct.
all sort of thing that these are the, and therefore in this entire startup and SME and the initial first IPO level, the most important part is the getting to the right mentor, right advisor, right person or institution. Because if you don't get it, see, people do consider sometimes compliance is a cost. Sometimes people say taking a mentorship and paying for it is a cost. It is not. It will save you the
It's
entire money which you otherwise going down the drain. So
the
what you
biggest
pay
investment.
is an investment. And people, it's like that. Okay, I got a car and I paid say 50 lakhs for Fortuner or whatever. Now when I go to petrol pump to fill up, I say 1,000 rupees ka petrol de do, diesel de do. Now what? That SUV is not going to go more than 10 kilometers.
True.
So why did you spend 50 lakhs on a vehicle and you are crimping on that spend, filling it up on the diesel, and which is a raw material. So if you don't do that, you end up having a seized engine and then you spend 20 lakhs more on changing and servicing and repairing. So that is very important because it is very easy and it is very contagious to be enthusiastic about something. And you can be over as enthusiastic and say, oh, hum dunya badal denge. You walk out of an MBA college and you say, I will change, sare ghar ke badal dalunga, as they say. Bajaj used to say, sare ghar ke badal dalunga. That is how it happens. And the guy joins and then goes to the chairman and advisor or MD and advises, sir, you do it like this, you will do that. Now, you are 24, maybe 2 years of IIM. That guy who's sitting there, he has 42 years of experience. Of 24 of that, he has done in a grind. He has gone home at 12 o'clock. He has done all sort of, has lunch at 4 o'clock. That was, and then he has got that. You look at it, oh, he's sitting in a big corner cabin and that's why I can take that. It doesn't come. And that is precisely the mindset of few startups. I would say at least 50 to 60% startup. And as you was saying, valuation game. People are getting closed down into valuation game. No, you don't create into valuation. You get into wealth creation. You create wealth rather than value. I think the difference is that if you create wealth and look at and think about wealth creation, then you will sustain. But if you are doing value, it's like that okay, I have made some sweet and I'm eating everything at one go. Abbi ka abbi kha jaunga. Then it doesn't matter. And the next day, what will you do? You'll go fasting. It doesn't happen. So coming back to Praveen, if you have that mindset, you whatever it is, you got to think about it very seriously and very very committedly to go on this route. And don't expect that just because you are 7 year already old, in 7 months you will go to IPO. You don't. You actually have to have a journey and plan out and keep on doing delivering a milestone to reach your ultimate objective. You see, that's the difference. A goal and objectives are different. Objective is ultimate, that you want to go there and create wealth. And milestones and goals are small things which you keep on achieving so that you finally reach your destination. That's how. Yeah, Iditi, you wanted to say something.
I wanted to ask you, should IPO the ultimate thought of any organization? Is it so important?
Uh, Again, depends on the mindset of or the objective of the promoter or owner. That if you feel that your product and service actually caters to a very very physically or geographically or some sort of a very specific client, and which is very specialized, and it's not going to be ever going to be a very expanding on a horizon, then you may not go for any IP. If you have and your profitability is, your margins are good, like as he was saying, 80% margin, you can do internal accrual, you can remain a debt free company, and you can keep on delivering to your limited client because the clientele is limited. Like you see Rolls Royce, they interview you before they take you as a customer. Without interviewing, they don't. If we say that, okay, I have got a sack full of money, how many $1 million you want, I want a Rolls Royce, they don't give you. They'll first take your interview. That's what it is. So then it's just limited. But if we want to see that we are doing something, we have created something, we have an IP, we want to make it known to the and pass it on to the universe, a bigger universe, then I think we will need the capacity to do that. And how do you build your capacity? So IPO is not the ultimate, but I would say IPO is the ultimate tool through you for you to build your capacity to reach out to the sky. Like if you don't make a Chandrayaan, if you don't have an ISRO, how do you land on the moon? We might just say "Chand tod ke la dunga" kind of a poetry or a film, but you cannot go there. So you need an ISRO, and for ISRO you need money.
True.
So that's why you can. But all said and done, the ultimate, my so many 3 decades of capital market exposure, I always have seen that the people who started with the right mindset, maybe some of them have fallen through, but people who started, they have stayed there. Like most of the, if you look at the world over, many companies which were there in 100 years, they are not in existence. Kodak is almost gone. Fuji Color, all sort of things there. So Sony made one of the best VCRs 30, 40 years ago. Their quality was much better than the GVC and Philips VHS something. But it did not work. So Nokia, almost, I mean, it's like a reborn. It's the Phoenix. But that Phoenix is not the old Phoenix. So that's why your mind should be in the right place. Your heart should be in the right place. And it should be filled with something positive to create wealth for everybody. And you should think at inclusiveness. Your stakeholders are inclusive. So if that is, and you ask her, you ask a right question, that what about the regulations of storing ethanol? Like that's environment, that ESG, that's compliance level. If you can't do it, and he said, okay, I am not doing that. I'm keeping it below light, and I'm not mixing it, and I'm not creating that. I'm only selling a packaged one. So that is how it is. Somebody can say, okay, when inspection comes, we will see. Tab tak niche bana ke rakho 5 liter ka can. And if something goes wrong, that 5 liter can spoil 500 people's lives.
Right.
So that is important. And if you have that sort of your heart in right place and your intention and commitment, I think IPO is a way forward, so that you can actually benefit better. It is not that people do understand that misunderstand that IPO means I will make money and I'll build a big house, or I will buy a penthouse, and I'll that is not. You should
But
look
people
at.
have done it now. They have set an
Yeah,
example
of
by
course.
doing that.
I mean,
People have
they're
done
doing
it.
it. They are doing it. The question is, how, if we think that if I'm coming for an IPO, each of my shareholder will also have a flat in Bombay. I will give him that much wealth, so that even though he may be staying in a 120 square feet today, he will have a 500 square feet flat. Now, if that intention, and see, whatever people have positioning, I have worked with Reliance, so Reliance has created wealth for all their speculation. I'm not talking of speculation. As an investor, I think it has created. Infosys has made billionaires out of, and not only shareholders. They have made them out of your employees, their directors, their promoters. Everybody is reached up to a level that, okay, Sunak is also there in that position, but whatever it is, like that is what it is. So it is not that a well-intentioned company can do magic and wonders for everybody connected. And IPO listing is the one idea, and which actually a tool available. So can we use that? Yes. Should we use it? I think definitely. But how? That is where the whole there are different options available, and that is where it depends on the individual, and it will showcase what is there in your mind and what is there in your heart. If you want fly by night, you will get it. I can refer you 10,000 people who will help you in fly by night, but I will not refer you more than 5 people for if you want to do it right. That is a ratio, because there are so many people who will actually say, oh, fatafat will do that, because their job is also to get the fees and get away with it. Then once you are listed, then if the SEBI puts you to jail, it is your responsibility, not his responsibility. right? So choice, just as we make a good choice in terms of we want to go for a heart surgery, a right surgeon, a proper doctor, a proper one, not that who performs 20 surgeries in a day and charges you bomb. It is what is required is go to a right perspective. So that is what it means. Anything
Thank
specific
you.
you want further on the
So,
IPO?
sir, so manufacturing, I have seen, so the bigger giants, leaving apart for the MSMEs, can
Sorry to cut you.
manufacturing pay out of going into IPO? I
Manufacturing.
see that, because people who are into contract manufacturing or back-end manufacturings,
Hmm.
the expansion level is where it's a lot of dependent, and we can expand the business, but we need to have factories dependent in different places. So does IPO is a better role, or you're there in your area and you're catering to a global clientele?
Hmm.
Still, it is worth it to think of an IPO.
Okay.
So I'll give
Now,
you.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you all, but we are running short on time. So can we take
Okay.
this
Yeah, I
offline?
know.
Couple short questions, just last
I
question.
think
Just
that Zoom will be cutting us off. It's
I know the
already.
conversation is getting interesting, but so sorry to
This
cut
is what
you.
always happens.
Happens.
Okay, so just to shortly, it is for people like you talking about the intermediaries. It is also actually it is important. You can do it, and there have been example like you know management consultancies have also gone for an IPO. So now you know that what can actually do. So IPOs, and I remember it was during my time that the media was allowed to be issued. Otherwise, media was not allowed. Media houses,
correct.
TV houses, they were not allowed. It was only that, which I had actually said no. I had said no, media should not come because then media can get influenced by the choice of their TRP, their share price, and then they would want more advertisement, so more TRP, more sensational. Dog biting a man is not a news, but man biting a dog is a news, and you can
News.
hype it up. So that is how it was there. But anyway, the government thought that okay, let us list them. But I was not in favor of that. So frankly, I mean, in closure, we can close that saying that yes, IPO is option available, but with a right mindset. And if you have the right mindset, the right growth plan is available to you, and one should always invest into being prepared. And it is not a short-term game. And you just can't run on the platform and catch the running train. It is not there. You might fall off and get injured. So that is analogy I can close on.
And the last point, when you have a good mentor like you, so I think then the way is more clearer.
Yes.
So
Thank-
I think within few years, I need to come and meet you, sir.
You're most welcome anytime. I wish it will be you will be reach there faster. I wish you all the best.
Thank
You,
you,
sir.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
for
much.
all your guidance and support.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Shruti. Thank you, Cap70.
Thank you, Shruti. Thanks for
Thank
organizing.
you,
Thank you
Anand,
everyone
sir.
for
Thank you.
taking your time out from your busy schedule,
Yeah.
especially Mr. Rajnikant and Mr. Dipti Jaiswal. Also, Mr. Praveen, it was really privileged to have you pitch on our Cap 70 event. And the session on IPO really was very insightful and fruitful conversation we had. I know, so sorry because we had to stop mid event, but we can definitely take this offline. Thank you everyone for the participant.
Maybe Anilji, your last words.
Yes, sir. Yes,
No,
Anil.
no, I was really hello, Diptiji. So I was really very much interested the way the conversation was going on. It is very rare to listen to all those sideline conversations of the panel discussion, and generally these kind of things sometimes gives a lot of real insights of our business decisions also.
That is
Very
true.
true.
That is true
True.
because the structured PPT talk, I never do use PPT for that. It's always interactive, and that is the way forward. And I like
Yes.
that way. I'm not very comfortable reading out. You can read out the PPT. Then why do you need me to be there?
True, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so it was
Great.
really
Thank
nice.
you
I
very much.
enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sure.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Meet you soon someday. Bye.
Sure. Let us
Anilji, you need to keep one one meet.
Sure, definitely.
we'll do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.